What's up, y'all? You kicking it with the Junkyard Dog on junkyarddogs.com. My name is Tony, for those of you who don't know. Yeah, you may be wondering why I got my shirt off. It's because it's hot in my shop, man. I need some AC. Please help your boy out. Anyway, we are finally at that stage in Project Mayhem where the engine is together. I mean, there's pretty much nothing else for me to put on this other than small little details like the water neck here and the water lines, little stuff like that. So we're gonna start working on the supercharger setup. I showed you guys before a few months back the plate that we had made. One of my homeboys, who was a machinist before I was a machinist, put this together for me for the base, which is actually the most difficult part of this setup. So this is for a GT40 setup. So we're gonna use this on the base of the GT40 intake, and we're gonna use some of this carton board right here that we got from the dollar store. If you look closely on it, it's got 1-inch squares all over it. So this is something good to help you measure your intake, because we're gonna make a custom intake for the supercharger. You guys know that I'm gonna be using 2 Eaton M90s for this setup. So let's go ahead and start cutting up this paper and see what we can come up with. All right, so we cut a 3-inch, cutout here of the carton paper here, and I think it's too high over the fuel rail. I think that we can bend down 1 inch and still get a really good clearance. So we're gonna say that the plate, we're gonna make the plate for the sides here 2 inches high. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold this one too. I'm just a guy who's, I'm inventive, I guess you'd say, and I like to just come up with stuff. So don't think I'm like no expert or anything. You can do this too. It's not really a big thing. You just have to have a little bit of ingenuity and imagination, you know what I'm saying? So boom, there it is, okay? So we're gonna have these two on the outside. And now we know on the front, we're gonna have a 2-inch square on the front here in front of the distributor. The part that I have to figure out here is, since I got these two sides here going up and over the rails, right? I gotta figure out how high I gotta come with this sheet here to go up and over the distributor with enough space for the wires to still connect. So what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna tape these in place because I'm kind of decided on these, you know? The back part here is just gonna be flat, okay? So this is a special shape. So I'm not gonna cut this one out just yet. This shape back here is going to be kind of like a tree, you know, with the stump and then the two sides, and then it goes up to a point. But in the front here, I got to worry about the distributor, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do about that setup. So let's go ahead and tape some of this stuff down so I can start forming this intake. Okay, so here we have the beginning stages of the intake here. So put that on there, see. Let's continue with a couple more cuts. See what else we can come up with, because I'm kind of stuck right now in my imagination, but that's all right. That's what we're having fun out here doing, Junkyard Doggin, you feel me? Let's go. All right, so the next portion of this is the supercharger base. My homeboy, once again, helped me out with this as well. This is before I became a machinist, so I would say probably a couple years, quite a few years back, that I did this. So this is we're gonna use for the template as far as like the width of the supercharger base, because the way they're gonna sit on an angle like this. Now this plate's all square and stuff. We're actually gonna trim it to fit the shape of the supercharger so it looks a lot more finished. But for right now, it's gonna sit on an angle just like this. So we're gonna have the plate come out. The reason why I have it sitting a little bit forward is because the supercharger snout has to meet the rest of the belt system, so we got to have it sit forward. So we got to figure out the geometry on that as well. All right, so we want the base plate to come out enough to go over the valve covers, but not so much that we cover this. Oh yeah, the oil fill plug. So this part right here, we want to bring it out just enough so that it'll not completely cover the oil fill plug. Now, boom, we're gonna come 7 inches out to midway over the valve covers. Let's go ahead and knock that out. I got this super long belt that I got from a Chevy 454. It's a 6 rib. Most of the modern cars are 6 rib. So the idea here with the belt, just kind of sitting here to see how far out supercharger's got to stick to meet the rest of the belt system. And what's good about, like I said, these squares is I can count the amount of squares that's got to come forward. So basically right now all I'm doing is getting the main plates together, and then I'll figure out the geometry as far as connecting this area, how far out I gotta come to meet these front plates here. I need a plate back here for support. I'm gonna use the back of the head to hold it on. So I bolted the plate to the supercharger, which makes it so much more heavy, which is why when we're all said and done, we're gonna make this out of aluminum. God. All right, that's why you guys gotta do your curls, man. So you gotta see, this is the reason why you gotta do your junkyard curls, man. Whew, get used to it. All right, let's check it out. I'm gonna kind of hold this and cradle it. Wish I had some help. Boom, just hold it like that. Just kind of see where it'll rest. But from what it looks of it here, where it meets out with the rest of the system is approximately 2 inches forward, which is actually not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was, actually. This is dope. The reason why I thought it was gonna be worse was because the 5.0 system, the belt system is further out and it's more spread out. So we got the belt system here like this. We'll just kind of hokey it on there a little bit just so it has just a little bit of wrap to it. Now this thing is easily about 45 pounds. So eat your Wheaties, man. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cradle it just like this, and I'm gonna put the belt on it just like that. Okay, this is just rough. We'll fine tune it later. Okay, just give me a good idea of where I'm at to get a nice straight belt. And from the looks of it, we're two inches forward on the paper. So we got to do 2 inches plus the base of the supercharger plate that I showed you guys. So it's the length of this plus 2 inches to get the superchargers to sit in the right location, approximately. All right, take this dirty old belt off. I might just use this belt for testing. Big shout to Gum Out for messing with your boy. Yeah. Alright, so we're at the back of the motor now, and I figure it's going to sit like a little tree back here. You see it? See, it's going to sit like a little, just like that, kind of like a little tree, little hat, you know, little topper, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, you see the tree coming together here for the back of the intake. So, it's 10 inches from the corner. So we're going to have a tick right there. And on this side, we're going to have 10 inches from the corner. So this is the cutout for the back of the intake. So let's go ahead and cut it out and see how it fits. All right, so here it is. We got this part here. So we got the little house right here, boom, just like that. It's going to be the back of it. So let's go ahead and start taping that up. So there we got the back of the intake set up roughly. Obviously when you cut this out of metal and weld it, it comes together a little differently, but this gives us a good starting place as far as measurements go, you know, because I can always take this stuff back apart and measure it and then transfer it to like a CAD drawing, you know what I mean? So boom, yeah, there it is.